There's a certain kind of light you really only find in Japan. And I'm not talking about the explosive, overwhelming neon you see in places like Shibuya, a place that just screams its existence into the night, a complete flood of information and color. And it's not the ancient, warm glow of paper lanterns you might find in a quiet Gion alleyway in Kyoto, whispering these tales of a world long past. No, this light, it's different. It's much softer. It's more persistent. It's this quiet, steady hum in the darkness, a frequency that you almost feel more than you actually hear. It is the light of a vending machine. I want you to just picture one. See it there, standing guard on a silent street corner, long after the last train is pulled away and the city has finally exhaled its last breath of the day. These machines, these silent sentinels, they are so much more than just a convenience. They are a constant. They are an anchor in the shifting landscape of daily life. In a way, they're a window. And if you really look through that window, if you take the time to see what it reflects, you start to see the soul of a society. So in this journey, we're not just going to look at these machines. We're going to look through them. And we're going to try to understand the quiet, profound story they tell us about Japan.
So before we can even begin to ask why these machines exist in such incredible numbers or what kind of treasures they might hold inside, we first have to just learn to see them, to feel their unique presence in the Japanese landscape. Because where they are placed, their very existence out in the open, completely unguarded, well, that tells a story that begins not with a product, but with a simple, solitary light in the dark.
I want you to picture this. Really let the scene unfold in your mind. It's 2 in the morning, a quiet residential street in a Tokyo suburb, maybe a place like Setagaya or Nerima. All the houses are dark. Their windows are like closed eyes. There is no one around. The silence is so deep, it's only punctuated by the distant, low hum of the sleeping metropolis. But right there, on the corner, is a perfect rectangle of light. It doesn't illuminate much, just a small patch of worn pavement, casting these long, stark shadows from maybe a discarded can or a bicycle leaning against a wall. It is completely, utterly alone, and yet it offers this silent promise of service. It's a point of connection in a world that's gone to sleep. What does it feel like to be that single point of light? It feels less like a machine and more like a landmark, a quiet, humble lighthouse on a vast sea of suburban darkness. Now, let's change the season. Let's change the weather. Imagine a relentless downpour, a thick sheet of rain that's blurring the city lights on a cold winter's day in Osaka. The whole world is just gray and hurried. People are tucked under their umbrellas, their faces hidden. Or transport yourself to the deep north, to a rural road in Hokkaido, buried under a thick, silent blanket of snow. The world has just slowed to a crawl, and all sound is absorbed by the frost. In both of these scenes, life has retreated indoors, but the machine is there, waiting. It stands completely unaffected by the elements, a constant, reliable presence. It doesn't close because of the storm, it doesn't complain about the cold, it just stands its post, its internal light a warm contrast to the bluish hue of the snow, ready for that one person, maybe a truck driver, a late-night worker, a lost traveler, who might need a can of hot coffee just to warm their frozen hands. It's this quiet, profound testament to endurance. But what's truly remarkable, what really begins to shift your understanding of these things, is where you find them. I mean, you expect them at a bustling Shinjuku train station, of course. That makes perfect sense. But then, you'll be driving up a winding mountain road in Gunma, miles from the nearest town, the forest thick and ancient all around you. And there one is, just nestled impossibly into the side of a hill, glowing. Or you'll find yourself completely lost in the narrow, labyrinthian alleyways of an old neighborhood, wandering between traditional wooden houses with their tiled roofs, and its familiar, gentle hum will be the only modern sound there to greet you. Always on, always stocked, always ready. It's this persistence, this ubiquity in the most unexpected of places that really starts to make you wonder. This isn't just about business. Something else, something much deeper is going on here. And that, of course, brings us to the central question, the one that just hangs in the air on every quiet street corner. Why? Why are there over 4 million of these machines scattered across the entire length and breadth of Japan? I mean, just think about that number for a second. That's one for roughly every 30 people in the country. Why do they feel so safe, so completely integrated into the very fabric of daily life? Why do they work here, standing out in the open like this, when in so many other parts of the world they'd be a canvas for graffiti, their content stolen within hours? What are we really, truly looking at when we see this simple, glowing box? To even begin to understand the machine, we first have to understand what's inside. And believe me, it is so much more than just cola and water. To open the door of a Japanese vending machine, metaphorically speaking, is to discover a treasure chest. It's a miniature, unmanned convenience store that caters to every conceivable need, every whim, every time of day. It is, in its own very special way, a cornucopia in a can. This quote from a visitor, it just perfectly captures the deeply emotional connection people can form with these machines. To really get it, you have to imagine a Japanese summer. It's not just heat, it's the sweltering, oppressive humidity that just clings to you, that makes the simple act of walking down the street feel like a marathon. In that kind of environment, a vending machine isn't just a convenience, it's an oasis. It's a lifesaver. That feeling of an ice-cold bottle of green tea against your palm, the condensation dripping down your wrist, that very first sip, it can feel like a genuine miracle. It's this ability to provide immediate physical relief that makes them so beloved. They aren't just selling drinks, they're selling comfort. They're selling a moment of respite from the world. And this is where the whole concept is pushed into the realm of the truly astonishing. We're talking about machines that dispense not just a snack, but a hot, steaming bowl of udon noodles, complete with a little digital timer that counts down while it's being prepared for you right there, inside the box. Just imagine that on a cold night. You can find machines selling bottles of dashi, which is the fundamental umami-rich soup stock that is the very soul of Japanese cuisine. There are machines for slices of premium Miyazaki beef, for when you need to pick up something for dinner on the way home from the station, fresh flower bouquets, umbrellas for a sudden storm, and in the winter, the offerings change completely. The little blue snowflake icons light up for cold drinks, and these red flame icons appear for the hot ones. You'll find cans of hot, sweet red bean soup called shiraku, or even hot corn soup with the little kernels right inside, which is a strange but beloved comfort. Each and every one of them is a reflection of a society that values an immediate, elegant solution for almost any situation. The affection for these machines runs so deep that there are places that have become, well, sanctuaries dedicated to preserving their history. The most famous of these is a place called the Sagamihara Vending Machine Park, located in probably next to a used tire shop in a suburb outside Tokyo. It's not a museum in the traditional sense, with objects sitting behind glass. It is a living, breathing, humming collection of retro machines. Fans and pilgrims call it a holy land, a place you visit to experience the golden age of automated retail, a portal that takes you back in time. The scale of it is just astounding. Over 100 functional retro machines, all lined up in these glowing rows, their various hums and clicks making this mechanical symphony of a bygone era. You can get a hot toasted sandwich from a machine from the 70s, and its preparation is this charming, clanking process. You can get a bowl of soba noodles or a classic glass bottle of Coke. The owner, Tatsuhiro Saito, he originally started it as just a small diversion, something to entertain customers who were waiting for their tires to be changed. But the collection took on a life of its own, tapping into this deep well of public nostalgia. Now, it's so time-consuming that Saito has as many employees just restocking the machines and cooking the hundreds of hot meals served daily as he does for his main tire business. It's the perfect example of a passion project that accidentally became a beloved cultural institution. So how on earth did this happen? How did an entire nation become so deeply intertwined with these automated vendors? Well, the answer isn't just about technology or clever business models. The story of the vending machine is the story of the transformation of Japanese society itself during the 20th century. The journey began over a century ago, but the seeds of the world we see today were really sown in the 1960s. This was the absolute height of Japan's post-war economic miracle. Cities were swelling, millions of people were moving from the countryside to work in factories and offices. People were working longer and longer hours, and a new culture of on-the-go convenience was taking root. Then, in 1972, came the real game changer, the hot and cold machine. It seems simple now, but it was absolutely revolutionary. Suddenly, a single machine could offer an icy Pocari Sweat in the humid summer and a piping hot Georgia coffee in the freezing winter. This adaptability was genius, and it was perfectly suited to Japan's distinct, demanding seasons. From that point on, the number of machines just exploded, peaking at over 5 million in the 2000s. And while that number has slightly decreased as 24-hour convenience stores became more common, the culture is now just evolving. We're seeing this huge surge in new specialized machines for things like frozen ramen and restaurant-quality gyoza, adapting once again to new lifestyles. Several key socioeconomic forces converged to create this whole phenomenon. The single biggest driver was, of course, labor savings. In a country with a booming economy and rapidly rising wages, the idea of a 24/7 unmanned store was just an incredibly efficient business model. At the same time, urbanization meant that more people were living in dense cities, constantly on the move, needing quick refreshment between the train station and the office. This created this powerful demand for 24/7 convenience, a direct result of changing work and life patterns. And underpinning it all, of course, was Japanese technological innovation, like that brilliant hot and cold machine. It was, in every single way, the perfect storm, the right solution for the right society at exactly the right time. But wait. All of those factors, convenience, technology, labor costs, they exist in other developed countries too. Yet nowhere else in the world do you see the same phenomenon on this scale. Not even close. This brings us to the most important and the most invisible part of this entire story. There is an unspoken social contract that holds this entire system together, a secret ingredient without which none of this would be possible, and that ingredient is trust. Just let that question sink in for a moment. Why are they not destroyed? Why aren't they covered in graffiti, their coin slots jammed with gum, their glass fronts smashed? Think about what a vending machine truly is. It is a box full of cash and goods left completely unattended on a public street, often in a dark, deserted place. In many, many societies, this would be an open invitation, a challenge, an opportunity for theft and vandalism. But not in Japan. Why? This sentiment, echoed by countless visitors in countless travel blogs and videos, gets right to the heart of the matter. It's a genuine and profound form of culture shock. The sight of these thousands upon thousands of vulnerable machines, not just surviving but thriving out in the open, it forces people to confront a fundamental difference in social norms. The astonishment isn't about the technology. It's about the collective behavior of the millions of people who walk past these machines every single day and choose to leave them alone. The silent, shared assumption that it won't be harmed is what feels so alien. So the crucial point here is how the machine is perceived. In Japan, it's not just a private piece of property that happens to be on a public street. No, it's treated more like a piece of public infrastructure, like a mailbox or a bus stop. It is part of the shared environment, and there's a collective, unspoken agreement to respect it, to maintain it as a functioning part of the community. Elsewhere, the default perception is fundamentally different. A machine is a target. It's an object of opportunity. It has to be protected, caged, bolted down, and kept indoors. The machine itself is the same piece of metal and wires. The society around it, the invisible software that it's running on, is what's completely different. This phenomenon is a textbook, real-world example of what social scientists call a high-trust society. It's a culture where the baseline assumption, the default setting, if you will, is that people will generally do the right thing, that they won't steal, they won't vandalize, they won't take advantage of a situation simply because no one is watching. This high level of social trust is the bedrock. It's the invisible software that allows the hardware of millions of vending machines to run smoothly day and night, creating an environment of effortless convenience and ambient safety. And when you start to use the humble vending machine as a lens, these profound differences in social infrastructure and behavior become incredibly sharp. So let's broaden the view for a second and make a direct comparison, observing how this single, simple object can reveal two very, very different worlds. The contrast, when you lay it all out, is stark. In Japan, the default location is outdoors. It's just part of the public streetscape. In the US and Europe, it's almost always indoors, in secured, monitored locations, like an office or a train station. The condition itself tells a story. Japanese machines are almost universally clean, fully operational. Elsewhere, they often show the scars of their environment and are frequently put in cages for their own protection. Vandalism in Japan is a statistical anomaly. Elsewhere, it's a constant operational risk that has to be factored into the cost of doing business. And all of this changes the social perception. In Japan, its light is a symbol of safety and convenience. In New York, as one writer put it, it's just a box that sells things, a purely transactional object, stripped of any deeper community meaning. This leads us to a deeper, more reflective question, one that moves far beyond just vending machines. It's not about technology or business models anymore. What are the social prerequisites? What foundational beliefs, what shared sense of responsibility must exist in a community before a system built entirely on trust can not only survive, but actually thrive? What are the invisible rules that govern our own shared spaces? What do we, as a community, trust to leave out in the open? Which brings us right to our conclusion. After exploring the light, the variety, the history, and the deep-seated trust, it becomes pretty clear. We haven't really been talking about a machine at all, have we? We've been talking about the society that created it and continues to sustain it every single day. This is the ultimate takeaway. The silent, glowing vending machine is a monument. But it's not a monument to technology or to corporate efficiency. It is a quiet monument to a collective respect for public property and an unspoken social contract. It is, in essence, a daily nationwide referendum on public behavior, and every single day, without fail, it passes. It stands as proof that convenience and automation are not just about efficiency. They are deeply, fundamentally reliant on a shared, invisible foundation of decency and order. And there is no more powerful, no more moving illustration of this principle than the disaster relief vending machine. In a country that is accustomed to the fury of earthquakes and typhoons, some machines are designed with a final, incredible feature. When a major disaster strikes, a signal is sent remotely, or a special key is used by an official, and the machine switches into a free vend mode. Its entire stock of beverages becomes available for free to anyone who needs them. In that moment, the machine ceases to be a commercial object. It becomes a piece of life-saving infrastructure, a beacon of hope in the chaos, a provider of a basic human need when all else has failed. It completes the long journey from being a simple box that sells things to a silent sentinel that, in a moment of profound crisis, truly and selflessly serves its community. And that, more than anything else, is why Japan's vending machines feel like they are from the future.